Morning everybody, how are you all? Sunday morning, and I'm going to do my question and answer. So first of all, welcome to my channel, and secondly, thank you so much to the people that have got in touch either via Facebook or Instagram, and other people that I just see all the time. So I've just put together some of the questions that I've been asked, and I haven't written down the answers. I just thought it would be more natural if I do it as we go. So although I know what questions I've got, I haven't really thought about or written down any answers. I thought I'll just say it, as it comes off the tongue, so to speak. So that way it's kind of real, if you like. So I didn't think I'd get any, to be honest. I thought people perhaps aren't busy, and maybe people don't have any questions. So I was really quite chuffed when people did start asking things. So that's really good, and thank you so much for that, because it's just helped me to sort of give another kind of video as well, rather than just the normal updates. So let's get cracking. So the first question, they're not necessarily in the order I've been asked either, they're just as I've put them down. So the first question was, what am I going to do with the loose skin that I'm going to have? Which, it's a fair enough question. I was a big girl, I was nearly 5 stone overweight, so yeah, so that's fair enough. What I would say to that is, I took the decision right at the beginning to do some exercise from the start, because I felt if I don't, then I'm just going to end up with a body that's, yes, it's going to be slimmer, but I'm still not going to like it very much. So I did make a decision right at the beginning that I was going to do some form of exercise, some workouts or walking or whatever. So, and I did do that, and I still continue to do that. So that's the first thing to say. I also took the decision to get rid of my car. It was kind of one of those things, it was a bit of a no-brainer. We had 2 kind of rubbish cars, so we sort of got rid of both of those and just bought ourselves one decent one, which my husband mainly drives. I just drive from time to time. So I walk most places, so I think the walking's really helped. It's really helped shape my legs a little bit, especially those sort of wobbly bits at the top. They're not perfect, but they are a whole lot better, and the exercise really helped. So I would encourage you, if you can or you want to try and do a little bit of toning as you go. That said, one thing I do want to quickly put in here is I'm 56, coming up 57, so I know I probably say that a lot. It's just a number to it. I really am not hung up with the age thing. I really am not. But it does mean that, and I've had 3 babies, so whether you're overweight or whether you're slim, you're still going to get some loose skin. So I think we could just kind of get over that a little bit, if we can, and just sort of say, hold on, as you age, and if you have had babies, they're kind of like, I'm not sorry about them at all. They're sort of proof, and I look at them and I think, well, yeah, I produced 3 wonderful children. And just generally speaking, as you age, I've got this sort of starting to get the kind of bit crepey arms, when you sort of got your arms forward, sometimes I can sort of see they're starting to get a little bit crepey. And I think even people that have never had a weight problem, and I know people that have never had a weight problem but are my kind of age, that are starting to get loose skin. So it isn't just about the being overweight. So try not to get too hung up on that, that's for sure. So I hope that helps with that one. The next one was, how did I do it? Okay, really, I've always wanted to be slimmer. Obviously I wasn't always fat, and when I got married 38 years ago, I was 7 stone 2. I'm 5'1". So this means, sorry, I don't have a blink up, something's come up on the screen, put me off there for a second. So yeah, 7 stone 2 when I got married, and within a very short space of time I had gained a lot of weight, considerable amount of weight. Then I had my first child, and really I never kind of lost the baby weight, and it just kind of kept piling on. I'd lose a bit, gain a bit, and so on. So yeah, and then I tried all sorts of things. I even tried coming to terms with it and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to love myself as I am. And up to a point I did achieve that. I did start to become more okay with it, and started to think about, well, how can I dress nice, and just because I'm big. So there's an element of that and it really does help, is to just kind of accept it, because you can't really move on from where you are unless you're kind of okay with that, if that makes any sense at all. You have to be almost okay with where you are, and then you can kind of build and make a move from there. And how did I do it? My husband said, I said again that I was going to have another go at losing weight, because every so often that's what I would do. And he said to me, Lou, it's not what you say, it's what you do. And for some reason that really stuck, and I've said this in previous vlog, that really did stick with me this time, and that helped motivate me, and I just, for some reason, that worked, and I kept going. And that's what I will say to everybody, is just keep going, don't stop. And I know I hear it all the time. I hear it on different vlogs and when I'm speaking to people, and you know, they sort of say, oh, I've lost my mojo, and you know, I just can't do it. And I was the same, don't get me wrong, I was exactly the same. I'd sort of, for whatever reason, you'd have a birthday, or you'd have an evening out, or you just give yourself a treat night, whatever it happens to be. And that one treat night, that one night out, I would allow, and it is allowing yourself to then just carte blanche, and then just suddenly start to eat everything in sight. Did that for years, but this time I haven't done that. This time I've just, every time I've done it, and don't get me wrong, I'm no saint, and I often have, if you want to call it, fallen off the wagon, but I prefer not to say that anymore. I prefer to now, these days, just say some days I'm better than others, and some days I'm more on plan than I'm not. But whenever I had an off plan day, weekend, or whatever it happens to be, there's something in me now, just straight away back on it the next day, just back on plan, whatever your plan happens to be. Calorie counting, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, whatever, it doesn't matter what it happens to be, just healthy eating, whatever it is. If I've had a day where I've overgone my sins, or overgone my calories, or whatever you want to call it, I would just, that's it, straight back on it. So hope that helps. That's definitely how I would say how I did it. Another question was, what weight do you want to get to? As I said, I'm 5'1", so quite small, and I think a good weight range, according to all the experts, is anywhere between, I don't know, 7.5 stone and 9.5 stone is a sort of top end. I'd like to be 8'13", so it's just under that 9 stone. That's what I'd like to be. I've called time where I am at the moment, which is about 9 stone 9. Just to give myself a little bit of a break from the dieting, and just from the calorie counting and getting a bit obsessive about it. And that's worked very well this week, so I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, that's the weight I'd like to be. I'd like to be around about 8 stone 13, and then I'd have a sliding scale. I sort of said 7 to 10 pounds that I could go up to. So instead of like being rigid about it, and I've got to be this weight, because all scales are different. And I've got 2 pairs of scales in my house, and if I weigh the ones upstairs in the bathroom, I weigh one weight, and the ones downstairs I weigh another weight. If I went to group, I'd weigh another weight. If I went on a friend's scales, I'd weigh another weight. So it's kind of like, just be sensible about it, or I'm trying to be sensible about it, and say, and have a sort of sliding scale. So when I've got holidays or Christmas, or just times when you're poorly and you end up having lots of cough mixture or something like that, and sometimes they can be quite full of sugar, can't they? You can just because you're not well and you're not eating properly. So any of those times, and life is for living, and life does get in the way sometimes, then I don't want to be worried about that too much. So that's why I want to have a sort of sliding scale between 8'13", say, and where I am now, which is a very sort of top end, which is 9'9". So I'm comfortable with that. I'm very happy with that. So I hope that helps. What's my favourite go-to meal? Oh my goodness, there's so many. I love food. I love food. Clearly I love food, which is why I got in a pickle in the first place. But I suppose I'm quite a big, I do like chilli. I love a chilli. I love steak. I love steak and chips. I love jacket potatoes. Or a burger. Love a burger. Love a cheeseburger. I kind of make myself. I've never been a big fan of takeouts and McDonald's. I mean, I have had them obviously in the past, but I'm not a massive fan of them. Much prefer to make my own, and I love like cheese and bacon. Love them. So I make my own burger. Then I have like some bacon on top, and then my cheese. Love that, with homemade chips as well. Yeah, so probably that one actually. Out of all of them, I'd probably say at the moment. It does sort of vary from time to time, but yeah, a cheeseburger, do love that. So what's next? What's my inspiration? Oh, that's a great question, isn't it? What's your inspiration? I'm inspired by so many things. I'm inspired by you guys, people I follow on Instagram and YouTube. My husband inspires me all the time, and he's so complimentary. You know, there's not a day goes by where he doesn't tell me how much he sort of loves and cares for me. And whether I was fat or thin, he would do that. But whenever I have a little bit of a downtime, which isn't very often, I'm quite an upbeat person, but of course, you know, life gets in the way, as I say, and things don't always go the way I want them to. So during those times, he's definitely my inspiration, because he always says something that makes me feel better, and he always points me in the right direction. Sometimes he'll just bring me back, just sort of kind of centers me, and just, you know, look at it from this way, look at it from this point of view, and look how far you've come. He reminds me all the time if I get a bit, you know, when I was getting a bit obsessive, look how far you've come, you know. And so you do need that from people, to suddenly go, hold on, you know. And you just get so into yourself sometimes, don't you? And you're not, and especially when you start comparing. I've got a good friend that does that from time to time, and I, you know, we all do it from time to time. But when you start comparing your weight loss to somebody else's weight loss, you want to hide into nothing, because everyone is different. Everyone loses weight differently from different areas. Some people take the scenic route, some people just get on with it and get it done. So you really shouldn't compare yourself. It's how you feel inside. If you're happy with what you're doing, you're sticking to your plan, and the weight is coming off, so what if it's slow? So what, you know, it's life's for living, isn't it? You're going to get there. So keep going. So yeah, that's my inspiration. I'd say probably most of all is my hubby. Do I like to follow a particular celebrity? Not really. Not really. I can't say that I actually do follow. There's no one that's. I mean, there's plenty that I look at and think, you know, you're beautiful and you're pretty, and but I think, to be honest, I like the real people the most. My friends, people, like I say, people I follow on Slimming World or Instagram, or a lot of the other sites. You know, people that are following certain plans that I've just been following for a while, and I still follow, even though I'm not necessarily doing, you know, Slimming World per se. It's just nice to follow them. I like the real people, the ones that are doing it, and you know, they just keep inspiring me to, even if they fall over, and a lot of them do, and we all do from time to time. They're the ones that are the most inspiring, that kind of, yeah, I've fallen down, this has happened, shit's happened, but draw a line back on it. They're the people that keep me going, and I think, yeah, you know, you're right, don't ever give up. So yeah, I don't particularly follow a celebrity. I quite like Joe Wicks. I mean, I think he's, you know, he's eye candy, but I quite like some of his HIIT workouts, some of his food. So I still like pinch little bits from all these places and use them for myself. Next question: what snacks do I like? Yeah, I'm a bit of a grazer. I'm definitely a grazer. I like to save some snacks for the evening. That's my kind of tricky time. Everyone has a tricky time of day. For me, it's probably about between 7 and 9, somewhere. I sort of get the munchies. So I like to save my snacks for then. And the kind of snacks, I'm quite, you know, if someone said savoury or sweet, it would be sweet every time. I do love cake, but I don't that often have cake. Certainly not every evening. It would tend to be when I do baking on a Sunday or something, then I might have a cake, and I quite like a slice in the afternoon with a cup of tea. But snack wise, it would be sweet. I really like the Micados because they're low calorie and low sinned. Mikado sticks, I don't know if you know those. Quite like Maltesers, love Maltesers. A bit of popcorn, don't mind a bag of popcorn. Quite like the rice cake, especially the one with the white chocolate on. That's really nice. They are 82 calories each, quite big, quite thick. One of those with a cup of tea. What other snacks? Don't often have crisps. The only crisps I have, and if I do have them, will be, I like it with tuna. Don't ask me why, but if I have a tuna sandwich, I love to have a packet or even half a packet of salt and vinegar crisps with them. Don't know why, so I don't like crisps other than that particularly. So yeah, I think that's probably the main snacks. Sometimes I'll have, you know, I quite like yogurt and things, but I have that with fruit. I tend to have that with my breakfast when I do stuff with that. So yeah, snacks I'd say would be at the moment. Currently, obviously it changes all the time. On peanut butter, I do like peanut butter and banana. That's another favourite on toast. But I don't have that very often because I don't trust myself with peanut butter. So yeah, it would be the Mikado sticks, Maltesers, and maybe the rice cakes at the moment, currently with the white chocolate on. A couple more. Where do I shop for my clothes? Oh, I can't tell you how wonderful it is when I'm in town and I go past shops like Simply Be. Is it called Simply Be? But the oversized shops. Used to have Evans in town. There used to be another one that was in town. I think it was an Australian company. They've actually gone now. But is it Simply You? But anyway, I love walking past those shops that I used to have to shop in. Now I know they absolutely do their best, and they really do all the bang up to date fashion. You know, the jeans, so you can people with you know, bigger thighs and that can get into the sort of more skinnier jeans and the and high boots, because I've always quite liked the high boots. Never could wear them before because my calves were too big. So I quite like it now that I can walk past all those shops that I don't have to go into to get the fashion, because I can walk into any shop, and that is so liberating. I love it. I love that I can go to absolutely any shop in the high street and I know I can get something in there. But where do I mainly shop? These days I've turned into a Primani girl, because you can get so much for your money, and fashions change, seasons change all the time. And I know it's nice to have 2 or 3, you know, sort of nice items that you keep for, I don't know, you know, weddings and things like that, and you know, perhaps you'd want to pay a bit more for them. But for everyday wear, I think you can't beat the old Primark for that. Still quite like Marks and Spencer sometimes, but they can be, no, I'm not young anymore, but I still quite like to dress fashionable, and sometimes I find them a little bit old-fashioned. But yeah, at the moment I tend to, and Sainsbury's, we shop in Sainsbury's mainly, and some of the TU clothing in there. Again, it can be a little bit mumsy, but sometimes they have the odd thing, so yeah, I shop in there too. But mainly Primark, I'd say, at the moment. And last but not least, some breakfast and lunch ideas. A lot of people don't like breakfast, do they, and tend to skip it, and I know it's supposed to be the most important meal of the day. For me, I love my breakfast. What I'm starting to do is my husband has his breakfast Monday to Friday when he's at work. We used to eat together for breakfast, and that was about 6:30 in the morning. But what I found was I'd be starving by about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And when I used to leave for work, I used to leave at work at 10. I'd be like really hungry just before I left for work, so I'd like have another quite big snack before I went. These days I prefer to wait now, so when my husband's having his breakfast at 6:30, what I tend to have is something like a satsuma or something like that, just I've not got a completely empty tummy if I'm going to do a bit of a workout or whatever. And I have a black coffee and a satsuma, something like that, and I have that about 6:30. And then I like to save my breakfast till around about 9:15, 9:30, that's me. And then I know I can go to about, or sometimes I have a nap at about 11, or I'll go till 1 o'clock when I have my lunch. For my breakfasts, I do like breakfast, and I do spend quite a lot of time doing my breakfasts. I don't mind giving it the time it needs. So even if I have to prepare it the night before, so I love overnight Weetabix, which is 2 Weetabix crumbled into a bowl with Muller Lite toffee. That for me, that's the one I like the most. And I have one of the big Muller Lite toffee yogurt, so I'll mix that through with the crumbled Weetabix, a little bit of sweetener. I put frozen fruit with that, frozen berries, and the reason for that is overnight they defrost and they give a little bit of juice off, so it gives it a bit more moisture. Sometimes I have a little bit of Greek yogurt too, because it can be quite dry, so it saves my milk, so then I can have my milk in my coffees, and if I want to, or a milky coffee at night or something. But yeah, I do love that. So I put that in you know, one of the stevia, one of those little microwave like soup muck things. I put it in there with the lid on, so it goes in the fridge overnight. So that's my 2 Weetabix, my Muller Lite toffee, sometimes a bit of Greek yogurt, and some frozen berries, just a handful. mix it all through, put it in the fridge, and then you've got a real go-to breakfast in the morning if you're in a hurry. If I've got more time and I can spend it there and then in the morning, I might do. I did some pancakes. I just put with a couple of flourless pancakes, so that was a couple of eggs. And what I do is I separate them and then just beat the egg white so you get them nice and fluffy. A little bit of sweetener, and then just cook it a bit like an omelette really. And then fold them in half, and I have like sliced banana, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and a blob of either quark or Greek yogurt with that. That's really scrummy. I quite like my rhubarb overnight crumble, so that's a similar thing to the Weetabix, but I will use some grape nuts because I do like them. I think about 30 grams of grape nuts with a little bit of porridge oats if you want to, or you can just have the grape nuts. I use the grape nuts to make it like the crumble because they're small, little, quite hard, but when they're overnight defrosting with some fruit, they kind of soften a little bit. They've almost got like a crumbly, cheesecakey sort of texture, which is really nice. So I'll have that with some stewed rhubarb and again a quark or Greek yogurt and your berries. Your rhubarb. That is absolutely beautiful. I have poached eggs on toast. I love that with some spinach. I always have spinach with poached eggs recently. I think that's a Joe Wicks thing. I do like that. Or a bagel. Build up bagel as he calls them, but I don't like. He did it with like ham, chicken or beef or something. I like mine with bacon personally. So I have bacon, egg, mushroom, spinach, all in a toasted bagel. That's really, really nice. So yeah, there's a few for you to be going on with. Lunches, I quite like my pickle plates. So I'll have a couple of Vita. I quite like the fruit crunch ones. I've got quite sweet tooth, as I said. So I have that, and I'll have some grapes on the side as well. Ham. I'll have one of those little Philadelphia pots light, so I can have that to dip like celery stick in, or cucumber, and salad. So I'll have my lettuce and tomato and cucumber, sometimes some beetroot and pickles, hence the pickle plate. So I'll have that, and then perhaps for afters I'll have some melon sticks and maybe some yogurt or just some melon on its own. I do like that. I like cheese and jacket potato and beans, or just cheese and beans, or just cheese and jacket potato. Gosh, sorry, I'm trying to think of all the questions at the same time. What else do I like? Quite like a chilli. If I've got some chilli left over, that with a jacket potato, or tuna, chicken and bacon. I love chicken and bacon and a bit of pasta mixed together. So yeah, that's a few of my lunches. So. But again, I'm always putting it up on Instagram and on my blog and stuff, so you can get some ideas from there. I do need to do some more on that, so I will do that for you. And if there's other like a meal plan or something like that, just a week's worth that I've tried that you want to, just let me know, and I'm happy to show you that as well. So there we go. How long I've been rambling on for 23 minutes. It's me thinking I had nothing to say today. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. That was quite good fun actually. That was quite something different. So thanks to the people that gave me the questions. That really was useful, and hopefully you'll find that useful too. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everyone. Thanks again for all your subscribers and your comments. They really do mean the world. And I'll catch you again next Sunday, or over on Facebook or wherever. Anyway, enjoy whatever you do. Take care. Bye.